where am I at with it?
Ready?
I am ready.
All right. What's up, everyone?
What is going on?
I'm Angela.
And I'm Ron.
And this is
Chatter of Opinion.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
We're so excited to be back. We were gone for 2 weeks.
Was it 2 weeks?
We didn't do 2 Thursdays.
Oh, that is
You
correct.
have a Marley hair on your...
Two
Yeah, we
Thursdays.
were gone on vacation. We enjoyed ourselves, but we're glad to be back with you guys. Did y'all miss us? I'm sure your Thursdays were not
the same.
the same.
All right.
And I know you missed us.
What are we talking about today?
So today is back to school.
Back to school time.
Yeah. All, if not most, of your students have returned back to school.
Mm-hmm.
Elementary, what is it called? Elementary, middle school, high school, even college.
See, we had a junior high school.
We had our intermediate school. We've talked about this before.
What was your intermediate school?
6th and 7th grade.
I think.
And then junior high was 8th and 9th.
You went to a special school. I'm just saying. We didn't have no.
We did not go to
school.
I did not go to a special
Yeah, you
school.
did. You went to a special school. I ain't never heard of no 6th and 7th grade. So then what did the 8th graders do?
6th and 7th was intermediate. 8th and 9th was junior high. 10th, 11th, 12th was high school.
Oh, I've never heard of that makeup before.
I know. We were special.
Okay.
So yes, everyone is returning to school.
Mhm.
And so with that comes a lot of adjustments.
Bittersweet for
Right?
some of you guys.
School is not what it used to be, unfortunately, for our children.
Okay.
Me and Ron are fortunate that our kids are past the high school and lower schooling.
Yes.
So we don't really have to deal with that. But friends and family that I hear with their kids going back, my heart goes out to you guys because I know it's hard right now. So we have a few things that we're going to go over that we believe are issues or things that you guys are experiencing currently, but please chime in if there's anything that we're missing. Also, a lot of our knowledge right now would probably be based off of New Mexico. So if you're out of New Mexico, then chime in so we can hear about what it is that you guys are doing.
Yes.
In
please.
your area, local area.
Right. So like I said earlier, bittersweet for some of you guys because you had the whole summer, which kind of flew by with your kids. It was all up on you, but now they have to go back to school, which is probably a good thing for some of you guys. But the bad thing is it does come with some expenses and things that you probably are not prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these schools start early, and we'll discuss that. You know what I mean? It's probably not what you had in mind or are ready for at this stage right now. So bittersweet moment. I hope you enjoyed your summer while you could.
Yeah.
For the kids.
Because now it's back to work.
Yes.
Meaning back to school.
Back to school. So let's get it. Let's get it.
So our first one is a lot of places are experiencing teacher shortages.
Yes.
So why is that?
Well, two things, and this is just my opinion. When it comes down to, first of all, the pay.
Definitely. I think teachers are very underpaid.
Yeah, very much underpaid for everything that they are so-called responsible to do during their job and even outside of their job. You know what I mean? They are very much underpaid. They do a
lot of stuff off the clock.
And I'm kind of surprised that there's not a lot of talk about increasing pay in some places, especially after COVID. You know what I mean? When you parents had to freaking, what do you call it?
Teach your kids.
Yeah, homeschool your kids.
Yeah.
Shoot. I know that wasn't.
Yeah, I'm sure you're like, oh my gosh, how does the teacher deal with my kid all day,
Yeah.
much less 30 kids or 20 kids.
Like I said, everyone thinks that their kid is the best kid. There's no way my kid is acting up in school until you had to homeschool your kid. I'm pretty sure that was frustrating. But teacher shortages, there's the pay issue. There might be the security issue. There's just a lot that teachers have to go through nowadays, and they're not getting paid as much as, in my opinion, they should.
Yes.
So
especially because of the hoops that they're having to jump through right
Mhm.
now and the times that we're living. Yes, I fully agree. I think that they just don't get paid what they're worth.
right.
Right?
And you have to, now you weigh your options. Do I go teach, even though that's my passion, for something I know I can make, and not
Mhm.
everything is
It's
about
about
finances,
but because of the society we're in now with
Mhm.
inflation, that has to affect you somehow, even though you're not in it for the money. If
Right.
you're being paid a minimum wage or a lower wage, that still doesn't help you
Oh
in
yeah,
like
if you're getting paid on the lower end of things,
right.
and you got to deal with the
And
higher end of
yes.
attitudes at school, inflation and bills and the
Yes.
whole nine.
That doesn't
Yeah,
make
now I'm gonna weigh my
it doesn't
options.
justify.
Yeah, I'm gonna weigh my options for sure. I'm not just gonna jump into a teaching position just because it's available. I need to get compensated for my time. Another thing is the teacher shortage is what they're doing here in Albuquerque, I believe, is they were given incentives. Didn't they give incentives if you signed up or whatever to
To
be
quit?
a teacher? No.
Oh.
If you were a teacher and you
to
signed
get
up,
more
yeah,
teachers.
they'll
Oh,
give you X amount of dollars for like a
that I
sign-on
don't know.
bonus or something like that. I think I read that
I
somewhere.
hadn't heard that. I think another thing with teacher shortages is the requirements for the curriculum that they're, adding on to them or requiring them to do. Or I know down our line, we're also going to talk about the school subjects that are being added or eliminated.
Mhm.
I'm sure those have to, affect the way that they teach, maybe, or maybe their beliefs of what they believe as the professionals of what they should be teaching their kids, and they're being regulated by
Right.
someone else.
And sometimes they have the breakouts too when it comes to shortages, because you don't only have just regular class. You have like special needs or special
Mhm.
education. You have ESL, which English is the second language.
Yeah.
And there's just not a lot of teachers that are willing to take on those jobs,
Mhm.
especially for, once again, the amount of pay that is being offered.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of things is being put on your guys' shoulders. And so I feel so bad for you right now. I know that teaching is not what it used to be. It's worse. But I hope that there is some silver lining and that you can continue to love your job.
Okay.
And I hope eventually we can get back to where the basis of teaching is specifically that for the
Right.
kids,
Especially when
and
it comes
not
to
having
the
to worry about
shortages
everything
too.
else.
Yeah, when it comes to the shortages, because what that does is it forces more kids to
On the
be
ones who stay.
in a room. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Instead of having 20 kids, I don't know what the average is right now, but then you have a teacher shortage. Now you're kind of adding more individuals into a class.
Yes,
where
which is harder.
Yeah, because you probably don't get that
One-on-one.
education that you really need.
Yeah.
Not everyone needs it, but there are individuals that do need that special attention
I agree.
in class. So
I agree. All right. Next one, new schedules.
okay.
So I don't know if it's happening everywhere, but specifically here in New Mexico, they have changed the kids' hours. I think the younger kids, they are starting them earlier, which is crazy to me that they're starting them earlier.
Right.
And then the high schoolers, they're starting them at a later time, like 8:30 or something like that. I think my nephew goes to school now, which is crazy to me because I feel like it should be the other way, because the kids that are in the kids that are in high school, they're about to get into the workforce within a few years. Most works start 8-ish, if not earlier, if not sometimes a little later. But by you giving them a later schedule, I feel like you're kind of setting them up.
I don't know, because I can see it the opposite way too. In today's society, where it takes two parents to work, and pretty much they work day shifts. Normally, not everyone does, but I'd rather get my kid to school first, the younger kids to school first, because the older kids can drive to school.
sometimes
Well,
if with inflation you can even get your kid a car.
hey,
You know?
that's on your household income. But I'm just saying, I'd rather get my youngsters to school first, and then I go to work.
Right.
Yeah, to be able to pick them up after they get out of school.
I just think as far as the learning capacity, I guess, is what I was thinking, not really transportation of how to get them there, which is a valid point.
Mhm.
I was just more thinking like, are they alert? Are the little kids who are in first grade alert at 7-something in the
You
morning?
better get them up. There was
You
alert
know?
during the summertime. They get up at
I'm
the
sure
crack of
by the
dawn
end of the day they're dying.
and take a nap. Then let's
Right.
get to it. But
Stop.
yeah, I'm just saying, the kids during the summertime, bright up, they're up early. You know what I mean? Doing what
Well,
they
yeah,
gotta do.
I saw this one. I don't know if it was on TikTok or something, but this mom was like, "All right, now that school's starting, you weren't sick one
Not
time
one
with all the
time.
junk that you ate
Right.
throughout the summer and the greasy food and the late night
Mhm.
snacks. Not one stomach ache. So you better not come one time talking about your stomach
The
stomach
is hurt.
hurts." Yeah.
First day of school, you're like, ooh,
Yeah, I thought that
ooh.
was so funny. I'm like, right? That's so true. Also, they're like extending school days, not just the hours of the school day, but the school days. Here specifically, I think it's due to possible snow days.
Oh, okay. You're
I
talking
know
about
they're
the
adjusting
duration for
the
the
duration.
whole. Okay, yeah.
Yes. And then they're extending the days because I think they're adding more off days throughout the
Correct.
year. Like, I think for the fall, they're giving them a little more. For spring break, they're giving them
spring
2
break,
weeks instead of 1 week. So
the
they're,
whole week of Thanksgiving, and this, that, and the
they're
other.
making a lot of
Yes.
adjustments that way, but then
Mhm.
that also extends the school year. Right.
Yes.
So I don't know, is summer shorter? Basically, they get a shorter summer.
Yeah, because the school year is
Right.
longer, but you get more.
But you get
time
more
off.
breaks in
Yeah,
between, but
you
your
do.
summer is shorter.
That is correct.
So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on? Do you feel like that affects your kids or your family dynamic?
I would be curious to know from you guys that do have school age kids, if school started earlier or finishes later on during the day, have you been affected so far if your kids have already started school?
Right.
I know Albuquerque or New Mexico started their school at the beginning of
Yeah,
August.
I think it was like August 8th, August
Right.
11th, something like that.
So with the time changes here in Albuquerque, I'll be curious to know if that has an effect
Affected
on
them.
Yeah.
parents
so far.
Yeah. All right. Our next one, of course, the lingering health or COVID precautions.
Mhm.
I know that they had gotten kind of laxed last year. And so now that COVID isn't as Ron calls it, sexy.
Right.
Do you want to explain why you call it sexy?
Because if you look at it between 2020 and 2022, COVID was a real big thing. It was hot off the press. And every time you turn on the TV, you just hear COVID, or vaccination, or this, that, and the other. And now you don't really hear it as much. I'm pretty sure, I just looked on the news and said that COVID was ramping up again, but you don't hear it as much as you used to.
Mhm.
So remember,
But I feel like it's starting to come back.
it might, but remember when you had COVID
you're
back in
hearing
the
it
day,
more.
you was off like 14 days,
Totally.
or you was, quarantined for 30 days or
Right.
something like that. But now they don't really tell you what to do if you
Right.
have COVID.
That's
You
actually one of
just-
my topics later is
Okay.
people are kind of unaware or uncertain of what to do
Yeah,
now.
because you really don't know what to do. It's
Yeah,
not
what are the
really-
standards or the requirements now?
Right.
Yeah. Also too, like if we have another amped up I don't know, precautions, are they going to require masks again? Is that going to be an issue? Are they going to do the homeschooling?
Right.
What is it called? Distant learning?
Yeah,
Is that what they called it?
I ain't going
Distant
back to that because that
learning
was not
or the back and
successful, I don't
forth
think.
that really affected our kids in general.
Yeah.
So
Eric Ryder says COVID is no longer a hot topic, but it's trying to make a comeback. Yes, it
I
really
agree,
is.
Eric, definitely.
Especially with all these kids that are coming back in one classroom, and you have individuals that bringing these sicknesses and colds and this,
Mhm.
that, and the other, and COVID. It's all going to be compiled into one area.
Yeah.
So you just got to roll the dice and figure out what your kid has, and hopefully it's not COVID.
I am kind of a germaphobe in like general, not crazy, but like I, use sanitizer, wash my hands a lot and things like that.
Mhm.
But I do hope that the schools just maintain a certain level of cleanliness and requirements just in general,
Right.
because kids have germs and kind of
Okay,
share germs.
I would agree with you on that, but once again, it's on us as parents to make sure our kids are educated enough to
Totally.
do the right
I
thing
agree.
to sanitize themselves. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
how many kids carry around hand
Hand
sanitizer now?
sanitizer,
You know
I
what I mean?
know.
Not too many kids do that anymore. So
I know.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. To circle back to schedules, Crystal put the new schedule is not great for my high schooler
Okay.
because he does have a later start time.
Mhm.
She says he starts later and then gets out later. It will make it more difficult with sports, which is a good point. Yes,
Right.
because if they're already getting out later, dinners later, especially if they have like a game, right? Then by the
Right.
time you're getting home, you're either too tired to cook or you have to figure dinner out. So that
What time?
what time do they get out,
Yeah,
Crystal?
I'd be curious to see what time they get out.
I feel like
Because don't they
I
go at
think
like 8 or
before he
9?
got
or-
out at like got home by 2:30, and that was riding the bus and walking the distance to the house.
Mhm.
I think now he's out at like 3:30,
Ooh.
3:40 something.
Boy, to keep these
If
kids
I
motivated
remember.
at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, boy, I would hate to
Yeah.
have that last period. I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
not good.
So let's see if she
Yeah.
responds on that. But yeah, so I will see if COVID comes up again and around again and see what the schools
it's going to come around again.
I think it will too.
And if not COVID, there's going to be
unfortunately.
something else to replace COVID, or they're going to call it a COVID plus or
Right.
something along those lines when it comes to the kids.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
All right, next one is a big deal, especially in certain states,
Mhm.
is school subjects. They're eliminating and or adding.
Okay, speak on that, because I don't. What are
You're
they
not-
eliminating?
I know that there's the whole thing about CRT is an issue.
What is CRT? See, I told you it was in that special class.
Is it CRT?
What is CRT?
It's like, oh God, I had it in my mind earlier.
Okay.
Just about like teaching about racism and this. Yeah.
You
Is
had
that what it?
Did you have that class? in your-
CRT? No.
CRT.
Or is that when they're trying to add? Oh, he gets home at 4 now.
Ooh.
That's late. Yeah. CRT, something, oh gosh. Critical race theory. There we go. I knew.
critical race theory?
That's what they're calling it. And I don't know if they were teaching it before and they're trying to eliminate it, but I know that's like a topic. Again, we're out, our kids aren't in school. But critical race theory about teaching it, I think, is people are wanting to add it. I don't know. Correct me, guys.
Critical race theory.
Right. No?
Never
You've
heard
never
of
heard of it.
Mm-mm.
Really?
No, we didn't have no critical race theory when I was in
I
school.
don't think it's a specific class, but I think that it's like talked about.
Critical race theory. So what do you talk about with critical race theory?
Maybe it's an elective in college.
It might not be
Is
in
an
high school.
interdisciplinary academic field devoted to analyzing how laws, social and political movements, and media shape and are shaped by social conceptions of race and ethnicity.
Huh.
CRT also considers racism to be systemic in various laws and rules and not only based on individuals' prejudices.
So you're gonna have a class about racism.
Well, so that was the thing was, and again, I'm totally not schooled on all of it, but
Okay.
I know there was back and forth because they were saying the people who were not of I don't know if it's just specific to Black people, but a minority maybe, that to always talk about like slavery and racism will make the non-Black or brown kids feel bad about their past, even though they had nothing to do with what their ancestors did.
Okay.
I guess. Is someone?
Yes.
Ooh, you can read that one. Maybe they're gonna school us.
No, it's a little probably a cut and paste. But Marianne, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's the
Okay.
same on the same lines as the critical race theories based on the thinking of a few important observations, which is racial and social construct
Mhm.
that doesn't have anything to do with biological differences among people, including
Right.
differences in intelligence and physical ability.
My what I'm not certain is were they teaching it and they're trying to eliminate it, or are they wanting to teach it and people are blocking it? I guess.
I don't know, because when it comes to critical race theory, you know, and I'll say this 1,000 times, when it comes to racism, people always think it's a black and white issue,
Mhm.
but racism
Oh,
is any race. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So I don't understand. I can understand it, but I don't know how they would
Yeah.
include that in schools.
yeah.
So it might be something that they tried to add and got eliminated,
Right.
but don't quote me on that. I have no clue.
And then I know they're trying to change like information about certain things like Christopher Columbus, trying to make it not sound as bad as it seems or that it had been perceived before, just things like that. And I think it's just trying to cause this divide, in my opinion. But to me, facts are facts. Like how, unfortunately, there was racism. Unfortunately,
Right.
there was slavery. Let's learn about it so that we can learn from it.
But see, slavery when I was in school was a topic.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't covered a lot, but
Right.
it was,
But it was
a
spoken
topic,
about.
in history, because we did U.S. history.
Mm-hmm.
I know
We
some
did too.
states do like New Mexico history,
Oh.
or
Depending
Louisiana
on your-
history,
Mhm.
or this, that, and the other. We just did U.S. history, and Marianne says that I think they are wanting to put an actual program to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like they do already have that class in college though. If I believe that they already have a college class dedicated to CRT, but I think that they're talking about like putting it in like lower level schools.
Okay.
I'm thinking. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Okay. But yeah, we had U.S. history, so they covered slavery and everything to do with slavery. They just there wasn't a lot to it, though.
Yeah. Now, granted, just period, I think that there are some school subjects, nothing to do with race or nothing to do with politics. The ones that I think the school subjects that they should add, and I've heard some conspiracies about this too, I guess, but is I think that they should have a class to teach our children about debt,
Yeah,
taxes,
of
finances, credit cards,
Yeah.
student loans,
Teach them how to balance their
mortgages. Yes, balance a checkbook, saving, investing. I
Girl.
think that,
Who has a checkbook nowadays?
well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I think that is very important for our kids to know.
Right.
But again, I like to listen to conspiracy theories to see how far right or left people
But
think. But they were saying with even that they don't teach that because they want the people to be workers. They don't want them to invest and make money. They need workers. And so they don't teach that in
right,
school.
but the bad thing is when it comes to the finances, you look at the economy and how the economy is going, whether you think it's good or bad. To teach these youngsters straight out of high school how to properly manage their money,
Mhm.
how to properly invest, how to put your money into something that's going to give you a return. That's important. When I was in school, high
It is
school,
important.
we had economics, we had this, that, and the other, but
Mhm.
we didn't have anything to teach me about finances.
Right.
So when I joined the military, my financial situation was buy whatever was flashy,
Mhm.
be in the know, be in the
Yeah.
what do you call it, the trend of things.
Yeah.
Until I got myself in like a financial bind
Right.
because I didn't
And
really
you don't realize it
right.
until unfortunately it's too late.
Right. I didn't know really, and to be honest with you, and I might be ignorant to the fact, but after I graduated from high school, I really didn't know the importance of credit.
Mm.
I really didn't know how important it was. I had more time than I did money at that time.
Mm.
So no matter if I bought something and it came with a bill and I paid late, I didn't really care
Yeah.
until it came to a point where I really needed something and credit
And you couldn't get
was
it.
involved in it, and I
Yeah.
couldn't get it because my credit wasn't really that good. You
Don't
know what I
ask
mean?
me where I learned, but I've always been about money and finances. Like I never got into like credit card debt.
Mm,
Granted, when I was a single mom, I used the cards to live off of, but I didn't do it just like I didn't go and spend on stuff because I had the credit. I literally used it to live out the rest of the month until I could get paid or whatever, right? For
right.
necessities. But for some reason at a young age, I just always was very good at managing my finances. So, but I don't know where I got that from. I don't remember my mom teaching me that. I don't know. I don't know.
Right. Marianne says, starts with the little ones when they want that new toy. You begin to teach them to earn and save.
Mhm.
Yeah, but the problem is that even adults don't know how to
No,
manage money.
they
You
don't.
know
It's
what?
bad.
Right. Adults don't know how to manage money because it's all about what they want right now.
The now.
Yeah, a lot of people don't live to save for something that they
Yeah.
need. And I always take it back to the wants versus the needs.
Totally.
You know what? You spend all your money on stuff that you want, and then you don't have nothing for something that you really need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to make those sacrifices, and people don't want to miss out. You want to keep up with the Kardashians, is what they say, and then you find yourself in a
Yep.
financial situation.
Yes.
But all this starts, you're right, when individuals are young, and then
But
you
again,
teach it throughout
when
life.
kids are starting to get their own money because they're starting to work and things, I think that's the best time to start teaching them. But that is not a subject that they provide in at least high school.
So in your experience, because you
Uh-huh.
have a young man,
Yes.
at what point in time do you teach them about credit and
Mhm.
stuff like that? At what age do you think is appropriate for the whole credit bank
Yeah.
account, or get them their own bank account, or give them
Well, with Zaylen specifically, he always knew growing up that he had an account that I put money in, throughout the years.
right? But that was you.
Correct.
Okay.
But it had his name on it.
Okay.
So then when he got old enough to not be responsible, but enough to like have his own car, he was like, I think in high school sometime.
Mm-hmm.
When he started working, that's actually when it was. When he first started working,
Right.
he needed somewhere to put that check.
Right. That's
right?
what Marianne says when they get their first job.
Correct. So he
Okay.
needed somewhere to put that check. So he started putting his money into the account that I already had, money saved away for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably because I basically do finances as a living, accounting and stuff is what I do. And so I've kind of always throughout the years talked to Zaylen about it. And I'm proud to say that in general, granted, he spends a lot on nonsense. So if he weren't to do that, he would be, especially living with us.
But a lot of
would be
people do that
stacked.
though. Like
Yeah.
the teenagers spend so much money on food.
On food,
on
exactly.
Food, you know what I
right.
mean?
Just
food
nonsense. So
alone.
if he didn't do that, he would be sitting on some pretty good.
Right.
Yeah. But
Okay.
he is doing so well on like managing his credit cards and also his credit score. He's 21 years old and has like a 740 credit score.
Right. So they should teach that
Mhm.
in school. I honestly think when you talk about school subjects, financial stability,
It's important.
to survive in
Mhm.
life, especially when you come to, like you said, student loans, which is a
Yes.
big issue
Right
now.
now.
And just debt and period
Yes.
should be discussed.
Especially too, just because of inflation, like these poor kids are set up to fail because they
Mhm.
can't even afford rent.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
it
it's
doesn't have to be a major class. It could be like an elective. You know what I mean? That
totally
if you're really interested in
interested.
this,
Yes, I
sign up
agree.
for the elective.
So, anyways, we
of that.
kind of got off topic, but I think that should be a school subject that should be added. All right, next one is school supplies.
Woo!
I know.
Boy, them school supplies be hitting nowadays, boy.
Oh, I do know that there was definitely an increase in what you guys spent on school supplies. I did read that because of the increase that the parents did kind of keep to the basics. They didn't do extravagant, like back in the day, oh, I want these colorful folders and
Right.
these colorful binders and all the cool stuff and the Mary Frank, is that her name, Mary Franks?
Who is Mary Frank?
Maybe I said Anne Frank. No,
was
that's
Anne Frank? Was she in the attic?
Yeah.
What? Who Anne Frank? Anne Frank?
Back in the day, guys, what is it? It was like a brand and it was something Frank.
There wasn't no Anne Frank. So wasn't she in the attic? You tripping.
Anyways,
Okay.
if you know what I'm talking about, please share it. Some name that was on all the folders, and it was like the colorful, like cheetah print purple or whatever.
Anne Franks.
Something.
She was in the attic creating.
Don't quote me on that, but I think it's Anne Franks.
I don't think it's Anne Franks.
I know it's not. That's anyways.
All right.
Forget I said that. Sure. Rewind 5 seconds. Anyways, so like parents are keeping to the basics, like all those like additional expenses, they're just not doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's expensive enough. And the surprising thing when it comes to the school supplies, and granted, I don't have kids that are in school, but I didn't see the old school list like at Walmart. You walk by and you see that whole list of things.
Yeah.
Maybe it was online or something like that.
You can't say that, baby, because we don't go into the grocery store anymore.
I go in the grocery
Maybe they were there.
store.
I don't.
Okay.
I pick up my groceries. I can't stand to be around people. So
right.
You didn't see them? Maybe they do them electronically now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yes. And also I feel like the parents said this year that they got their list after like the tax-free weekend too. So that kind of sucked.
But hold on, does everyone have a tax-free weekend?
Oh, I don't know. It's here in New Mexico.
I don't know if they have a tax-free weekend in every state.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, we were saying, I know here in Albuquerque, I believe that now you just basically bring your school supplies to like put them in this pot, like literally like a school supply bank, and everyone has access to it. Before, you would have your own crayons and your own notebooks and your own this. Now, no, you put it all in and just it's up for grabs, which on one end, maybe someone who didn't contribute, but yet there's other parents who did come out of pocket. Like, how does that work?
And Marianne said the same thing. In my kids' school, school supplies is not mandatory, and whatever we buy just goes into a main pot for the teacher to pass out instead of buying personalized, pretty stuff just for your kid. Yes, and that's what.
So then you do buy the basics. Maybe that's why the parents are buying the basics. And Crystal said it's Lisa Franks. Thank you. I knew it was Frank something.
It wasn't no Anne Frank.
She said that too. Definitely not Anne Frank.
Yeah, but Marianne, we discussed this before, where they have a list and they put the list out, and then you buy the stuff that is on the list, and then once you buy it, it goes into the closet or a pot for all the classmates to have. It's not just for your kid.
Like I know I used to get mad because there I was taking like a pack of paper towels, and I'm like, I don't think a lot of people did that. So it's like, so the few parents who did make the effort to do that has to, and it's not about sharing. It's just about being fair. Like if you're requiring it, then maybe if everyone didn't do it. I don't know. I don't know
It's
how
a
it would
good
work.
and a bad thing to me. It's good because for those that can't afford, I would hate for those
Yeah,
kids to be punished because
totally.
their their parents can't
Totally.
afford it. But then for those that can afford, and then you're just you go out and you spend all these hundreds of dollars on some school supplies just to give it away to someone else.
But what about the ones that can't afford it but still figured out a way to get it, and then they're still like
They have
they
to
still
share it.
figured it
Yeah,
out, so how come,
I,
not to say how come the others couldn't, because I mean, sometimes you just can't,
right.
right?
In this
But
case, I don't.
how do you regulate
Yeah,
that? It's hard.
it's hard
Yeah. But
regardless of
just
the
like with
fact.
school clothes, I just think I prefer uniform because yes, you express their individuality, but on the
Mhm.
other end, if there's kids who just can't afford, I just think it builds more of that gap.
But then again, if they can't afford, what makes you think they can afford a uniform? You got to have more than one uniform, and how much are these
Yeah,
uniforms going to cost?
correct. But I'm just saying, like, because kids are so influential,
Right.
and they're all about the current stuff. When you're in uniform,
I would say a
you're
uniform
not
is
you're
good.
not feeling so obligated to try to keep up with the Joneses.
Right.
Yes, specifically uniforms may cost, but they may
Mm,
not cost like the Nikes and the, certain label shirts and
right.
clothing is what I'm
I
saying.
say a uniform is good up to a certain grade. After that,
Mm,
you have to let individuals be individuals because you'll spend
yeah.
more time trying to be uniform police than you would just allowing them to do what they got to do.
Mm.
You tell people, pick up your pants. Your uniform doesn't match. This, that, and the other.
Yeah,
But up until a certain grade,
but
you don't have to worry about
but
that.
the few times I dropped Zaylen off, I remember seeing some people, yeah, getting to school like butt cheeks out,
Oh yeah,
stomachs
yeah.
out, like
When I went to the
it
high
was
school, yeah,
interesting.
to pick up Zay a couple of times, I'm just like, this girl
This
whole
is
booty
school
meat is hanging
attire,
out. Yeah,
yeah.
like I know that
So
ain't
to me, I
approved.
think that's harder to regulate than someone who should be in uniform, and then just
Yeah.
minimize, like calling out the few things that a uniform could extend
Right,
past
but is that high school and
level.
up, or is that
Mhm.
from first grade up to middle school? I
Right,
don't
like
know.
what's
I don't know.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything on school supplies?
No, just school supplies. The thing is, once you put out that list, it can be expensive because your local stores like your Walmarts and stuff
Mhm.
get sold out. So
Yeah.
then that forces you to go to like Office Depot and some of
Yeah.
these other places where, excuse me, where the prices are pretty much top
I
notch.
think a thing that people should make it a habit of doing is like every, I don't know, quarter of the year, you, I don't know, anytime you go to the grocery store, like, okay, this time I'm going to pick up one thing of crayons with my grocery pickup. This time I'm going to pick up these 4 notebooks and kind of build on that. Like, I know, shout out to Sheila, which was the boys' daycare person. She like gave Zaylin so much school supplies just in her keeping up with him after he even left her daycare. But I had a big Tupperware full of school supplies that I even, by the time Zaylin got out of school, passed on to my sister for my nephew of school supplies. But that's kind of what I started doing was if I was like, "Oh, I didn't spend that much this week. What could I purchase, right now that I could add to
Right,
that so that
right.
when it comes to school time, I'm not having to spend so much in a concentrated
Yeah,
time
one
frame."
time, yeah.
So anyways, just a little tip that I learned being a single parent that lived paycheck to paycheck. It helped
Yeah.
out. So yeah.
Mariam says $5 polo and the $5 shorts at Walmart is better
See?
than regular clothes. I
Yes.
can agree with you on that.
Totally agree.
She also said I wouldn't like a junior high or high school uniform.
Mm,
School, it makes it easier for elementary school. It
mm,
does. The smaller you get from, I say like
mm.
not preschool, but from kindergarten to middle school, I think a uniform is appropriate. after that, individuals are trying to figure out who they
Their
really are. Yeah.
individuality.
So then
Yeah.
I don't see a uniform being beneficial at that time from middle school to high school.
Gotcha. All right. Next one. Well, I had just put college differences. I don't know if any of you guys have college students out there.
Okay.
I don't know if colleges increased during since the pandemic. Did the price of
prices?
college increase?
Oh.
I know they've increased in general since years ago, but due to COVID and the recent just issues that we've been having, have the prices of one semester, have they significantly increased?
Mhm.
And again, with the restrictions for certain what is it called, subjects,
Okay.
things like that. I don't know. Again, we don't have kids in college, so we're not familiar. And then just requirements in general. I heard that some colleges, because of the increased COVID, has started asking for masks again.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen it, but someone today at work said that they saw that because of the hike in COVID, that some of the schools are bringing back masks.
That mask thing is played out in a lot of states. I'm like here, even in New Mexico. And New Mexico is a Democratic state.
Mhm.
I don't foresee masks ever coming back here to New Mexico.
I don't. I would wear a mask if it increased. I definitely would wear a mask. I don't agree with requiring people to wear a mask. I think that taking something, how would I say this? Forcing someone to do something is just not necessary. I feel like if it's such an issue, then you wear a mask when you're out.
Okay.
I don't know.
I just don't see that when it comes to restrictions and requirements and stuff like that. I don't see a lot of institutions bringing back the mandatory mask requirement. I think just like we see now, if you're sick or whatever, you put on a mask.
Or you what is it called?
Self that.
Not regulate. Self.
Yeah, that.
By yourself.
Yeah, yourself
Separate
by yourself.
God, I am at a loss for words today.
By
I'm
yourself
hungry, guys.
with Anne Franks. I'm just saying.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, you self by yourself.
No, babe, really.
No,
what am I
don't
trying
know
to
what you're
say?
trying
You're like
you watch out for yourself.
you take
you precaution.
separate yourself.
Yeah.
I can't think of the word.
You
Distance yourself.
Yeah.
There's another word, but anyways. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Also, I read on USA Today some of the issues that we are finding are kids' attention spans are shorter. They think it was because of the whole back and forth between oh, we're distance learning. Oh, today we're going in, oh, we're adjusting the class schedule for today because of this. There was just so many moving parts that kids didn't have to sit in one seat and listen and do this like they did before.
I just think society wasn't ready for the distant learning thing.
Yeah.
Because first of all, not everyone has a computer.
Yeah.
Not everyone, if you do have a computer, not everyone really has the internet.
True.
You know what I mean? And then you can't force somebody to get on there while you're teaching, and you can't control if they have,
or even if they're there and they're
on.
playing, or they're not even listening, or they're on their phone. You have no control over it.
Or when everyone was at home, you had somebody just trying to distance learn, but then you had other kids that were in the background
noise,
and this, that, and
totally.
the other. So I don't think they were prepared for that.
And then also, which caused our kids to be behind in learning. Right?
But not Albuquerque, but New Mexico is last.
We're already last. So then to imagine to have our kids having to figure it out during that time.
Yeah.
They weren't getting the direct teaching that they would have before. And then to have to distance learn and not get, I just think it made it worse.
I'll disagree with you on that. I think they were getting the education that they needed, but not per each state's requirements. right? I
Hmm.
just think it made it worse when now you take individuals out of the classroom and then you expect working parents to
Teach kids.
teach
I'm not a
kids
teacher.
during the
I don't know
course
history.
of the day.
My sister is really bad on math, so she certainly
Right.
wasn't going to teach
That's a
her son.
full-time job. Like I said,
Yeah.
a teaching position is a full-time job, and you expect parents that work all day. And granted, I'm not on this computer listening to the teacher talk all day. I
Right.
have to come home from work
Right.
and then expect you to tell me what this teacher had
Yeah.
said when you weren't even paying attention
Yourself.
yourself. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Totally agree.
That was bad.
Yeah. So I feel like they're behind in learning because certain kids did need that face-to-face learning, and the distance learning to me affected them.
Right.
Kids missing a lot of school, even now returning, they said that because of the whole COVID thing and missing school, and there was so many like restrictions, and oh, we need to do this. Oh, no, we need to do this. Oh, it's 5 days. Oh, no, it's 10 days. Oh, it's 14 days. Like there was just so many different
Mhm.
directions that even now it's not so clear. So even now, because COVID is there, or say a kid just gets a cold, but they don't want them to think it's COVID or whatever, that they're just keeping them out more,
Right.
even if it's a little cold, but they're not sure what to do.
Right.
So
Marianne also says, I blame electronics at 100%. Just like us as adults, I even have a hard time sitting for a movie. I fall asleep within the first 5,
yeah,
10 minutes of the
he'll
movie.
sit there, but he'll lay
I'm
and
out.
fall asleep.
I'm out.
Let's not get started on that,
Yeah.
Marianne. That's a whole nother podcast.
She said, I'm a person that watches a movie with an iPad, iPhone, or MacBook. I just can't see it. When I'm in training for my job, I will turn my camera off and I'm out. You know what I mean? I'll take a nap until they call my name or something like that. I don't really pay attention half the time on what they're talking about because I've been in this career field for a long time and I really don't pay attention because I already know the information, or I think I know the information. These kids nowadays are not trying to watch something on no computer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not, if it's not a video game or this, that, and the other, not interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they took a big hit when it came to that the distance learning.
Uh-huh.
When it comes to missing school, I agree. There's a lot of times where kids find every excuse or to not even go to school,
Mhm.
or if they miss the bus, this, that, and the other, and your parents are working, they don't have anybody to take them to school, so they will miss school.
Right.
Schools nowadays, they don't want you at school if you're a little sick, because a little
Yes.
sick can turn into a COVID
But
issue.
we're like that
or
at
something.
work too. Someone comes in and they like sniffling, we're like, go home.
Yeah,
we
like-
don't need that here.
And it's all, and there's no in between nowadays. Either you're fine or you got COVID.
Yeah.
Right? There's no in between. You coughing, you sniffing, you sneeze or
Mhm.
whatever, you got COVID. You got to go
Yes.
home. You know what I mean?
It can
So-
be allergies. I got allergies.
right.
Yeah,
And that's
totally.
at your work. So when it comes to school and you got
Well, kids
20,
with
30,
germs.
you got
Yeah,
30 kids in a classroom, they don't want you there. You got to get up out
Yeah.
of here.
totally agree. Also too, along with like the attention span with kids, was like kids are just more rowdier and just can't stay still. It's just
Mhm.
hard to like teach them now, or for them to learn. Like just the dynamics have changed so much, and also parents are not as engaged as much as before.
Here it is.
I don't know if what?
No, because you're on what now?
I'm on parents not engaged as much as
Okay.
before.
I'm gonna be brutally honest with you.
Okay.
And you might hate me for this, some of you guys, but I'm gonna be brutally honest. Your kid is bad.
Okay.
Period. You say no, not my kid, this, that, and the other. The people that say their kid is not bad is the worst kid in the
ones.
class,
Yeah.
right? You expect your teachers to be more than just a teacher. When I was going to school, my mom said one thing: you go to school to what?
Learn.
Learn. That's it. If my mom got a call for anything outside of you learning, there was trouble.
Okay.
But if you look at some of these videos, I just saw a video I think it was yesterday.
Was
when
it a
this-
girl
that threw
with
the
her
shoe
shoe?
and
Oh
hit
my
the
God.
chalkboard, and
I know
she
that
was
teacher
talking
was like,
back.
if we weren't in school,
Are you
I
kidding
would've-
me? Yes.
yeah,
So
they're
a
so
teacher,
disrespectful
right?
now.
They have to be everything. They have to
Be a judge,
yes,
be a
the
counselor,
friend,
be
the
yes,
counselor, the this that, and the other.
disciplinary.
Talking somebody off the ledge.
Oh no,
preventing-
disciplinary, but not touch you, but
Yeah.
somehow get you to listen and be respectful, but I can't touch you. And I can't tell you anything because your feelings will get hurt.
there,
And then you're saying I'm abusive and
right.
called you names.
There is no way that I'm going to be disrespectful to a teacher
Oh no, your mom would.
or an adult
slapped you
without
across
my
the
mom. Oh, are you serious? Disrespecting a teacher? You know what I mean? These kids just lay back and they just say whatever, cursing.
That
in the
little
whole
girl
nine.
was straight up
Are you
disrespectful.
kidding me? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Like if I were her parents, I would be totally embarrassed.
Mm,
I would be totally embarrassed.
that's bad. That's
Yeah.
bad. So that's my thing. You know what I mean? Your kid, it all starts at home. If you send your kid to school to learn, that's what your kid is supposed to do.
Mhm.
You should never get a call about your kid being disrespectful, and stop always believing that
Your
it's the
kid.
teacher's fault.
Yeah.
It's hardly ever the teacher's fault. That teacher is there to educate 20, 30 something people. You know what I mean?
I also think you have to know your kid. If your kid always tries to get away with stuff at home, you think that they're not trying to get away with stuff at school.
Oh, you know it.
Do you know what I mean?
Some
But
people know.
on the other end, there are times where there may be a situation where your kid needs you to believe them on the opposite end. Maybe the
Okay.
teacher is treating them a certain way, or maybe they're being sexually assaulted. There's that balance of, when your kid is being bad and disrespectful, and then there's the opposite where they need your support.
Mm.
How to determine that, I don't know, but you really have to have that open communication with your kid. Granted, I hate to say it, but kids right now, they're assholes.
Whoa.
They are. They're mean.
Ooh,
They are.
that was harsh.
They are.
Yeah, kids
They
are
are
disrespectful.
really mean.
And not just in school. If you listen to these kids, and let's say you go to a grocery store, and you
Even
listen
to
how
their
they
own
talk,
parents.
Yeah, to their parents.
Yes.
Ooh, Lord, that's a different
I agree, because
podcast right
back in
there,
the day, we just didn't do that.
Man, you stood by your parents and you shut the hell up. But nowadays, man, these kids are so disrespectful, boy.
Yeah, I'm just saying they're just mean.
As a teacher, like I said, if you look at some of these videos that are posted and how these kids are talking to these teachers or around these teachers, I was always taught to respect my elders, no matter what. If I had an issue
Mhm.
with one of them, I came home and I told my mom.
Yeah.
Or I told my dad. or
No,
whatever.
these kids take it into their own
Their
hands,
own
and
hands.
they're bullying the teachers.
The teacher.
Like what?
Like what? beef-
How did we get to this point where a child can bully a teacher?
My question is, what beef would you ever have to have with your teacher, though? The teacher is teaching,
Yeah,
right? What bully? Well, I mean, what beef do you have
I don't
with
know.
your teacher? Marianne says, blind moment confession.
Oh no!
Here we
Let's
go.
hear it.
My little one had COVID 7 times last year.
7?
7.
Okay.
Mhm. All because I was reading the test wrong. Oh, she thought one line was positive.
Girl, let's hope you don't get pregnant.
And this is when the kids had to stay home for the 12 days. Dog, that kid missed half a school year because you read this test wrong.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
I
So-
bet your kid was like bummed
Yeah,
when
like-
you realized, oh, you should be going to
Look,
school.
let me get this to mom. She ain't gonna read this.
That's
right.
hilarious.
Bullying the teachers with their cell phones, recording them. Yes. You know what I mean? Cell
Yeah,
phones
it's
and stuff.
awful.
Very much a distraction. I don't see how the teachers do it nowadays, but hats off to them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, the last one we have is safety.
Yes. Big
Very
issue.
big, very
issue
big right now,
nowadays.
specifically in certain states.
Mhm.
Well, all states, I think.
All states.
But specifically in certain states, some are trying to say, I guess, gun regulation. Some are saying, no, give guns to the teachers. Teachers are saying, I'm not here to shoot anyone. I'm supposed to be teaching.
Right.
And kids are saying, I don't feel safe at school.
Mhm.
And they have a poop bucket in the closet for when and if we're on lockdown. Like, what world are we in right now?
A poop bucket.
It's
Where you get that
random,
from?
I know.
Okay.
Supposedly there was this thing where people were like, oh, they make them poop in a bucket and this and that. And so the teachers came forward telling them specifically what it was. It was a bucket with like kind of like all these necessities in case they were locked into a room trying to stay safe, like
You'd be like, oh,
a bucket of necessities,
oh,
like
I gotta take a dump.
what is it called? Something kit, not a safety kit.
Like survival kit or
Yeah, like band-aids.
emergency kit or
I can't. Anyway,
band-aids.
you know, like ugh.
Yeah, it's emergency.
It's not an emergency. There's something else called. Anyways,
Yeah.
like that type of stuff. Maybe a few things of water, but the bucket, yes,
Yeah,
had.
she says emergency kit.
I feel like there's another word I'm looking for. God, I'm hungry, guys.
Mm.
Anyways, like so they had stuff, and yes, it wasn't a bucket that had like sand or something, because yes, if we're locked in here and someone needs to go, then they could go in the bucket.
If you lock down and you gotta take a dump,
where are you gonna go? You're gonna take a dump on the floor? That people have to like
okay.
be in the room?
I don't know.
Because you don't know how many hours they're gonna be there. Anyways, for us to even be having this conversation is unfortunate.
The unfortunate thing is there are a lot of school shootings. There are a lot of not just shootings, but just incidents, period.
Right.
And kids are afraid a lot of times to go to school. We have here every year at one of the local middle schools here is the anniversary of somebody saying that they were going to shoot up the school. And they're still on edge thinking that this person is going to shoot up the school. However,
was that the middle school?
Yeah, I don't want to say the name.
Yeah,
but it's kind of valid, and you don't want to take these threats lightly.
No,
there are so many times where these individuals, these kids, go to school with these guns and this, that, and the other. It's a blessing for you to go to school and make it back home in one piece.
Yeah,
I don't know what the answer is. The answer is not for the teachers to arm themselves, because to take someone's life is very serious, but can you imagine taking a student's life? You know what I mean? But if you had to do it, you would,
just a bystander.
Maybe if you're not trained to properly arm yourself, but should we expect our teachers to do that? I expect my teacher to teach.
Right.
I don't want them to be law enforcement. I don't want them to be marksman trained
Mr.
to
Miyagi.
take out. No, I don't need that.
I agree.
And then a lot of states can't afford to have like a security guard or a police officer. We shouldn't have that in a school. We're talking about a school. When was that last time? I think I watched on the news just recently. The mom was being convicted because her elementary school son shot the teacher. He was in elementary school.
Oh my God.
I think, between.
Did they charge the mom for him having access to the gun? I feel like I heard that too.
At that age, you know what I mean? You have to worry about an elementary school student.
My thing is, why would an elementary school student, 6 years old, 7 years old, even have knowledge about bringing a gun to school?
Well, that's what it is now. It's blasted on the television and stuff like that.
I know. It's awful.
Yeah. When I was in school, my main worry was if I had lunch money.
Yeah.
If I had free lunch, this, that, and the other.
And if I get recess today.
Right.
So I could see my friends.
Right.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with protecting myself or,
wearing a mask.
Yeah. But I will say, when I was in school, my history teacher, I think it was history, Mr. Maloney.
Ooh, you're calling him out. Wait, let's see what you got to say.
Mr. Maloney.
Ooh, Mr.
He had told this guy that he wasn't going to graduate and whatnot. The guy came to class real quick. Bam, shot him in the face.
You saw it?
I was in, no.
Oh.
It was in high school. He shot him in the face, right? I had him, And then my sister had him after that. So he came back to teach. But it was a school shooting. That dude said that Mr. Maloney was the one that was failing him, even though the guy didn't do the work. He came, he shot old boy in the face, and then he left. Yeah.
Tragic.
Yeah.
Tragic.
All right,
Yeah.
Marianne says the state should take their funding to pay for parents to just teach at home. Technology has changed so much. She said, just kidding. I love sending my kids off for the day. Agreed.
I need a break.
And I'm telling you, a lot of times, man, especially during COVID, it was not going down like that.
Yeah.
Parents did not want to teach their kids, especially after they found out how bad their kids was, and they was not paying attention in class.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
All right. Well, that's it that we have today. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yes.
We just thought it would be good to just go over quick back to school things that you guys may be dealing with. We wish you guys luck this year.
Yes.
We hope that you're safe.
Very much.
If you're having any issues, as Ron always says, and you have no one to talk to, reach out to him.
Reach out to us. Oh, you can reach out to me.
I would say us, but he's my sounding board. So I don't know if you want this crazy woman to give you advice, because I go to him for advice. I'm just saying.
I'd be more than willing to talk to you if you're going through some things. School has started. Make sure that one of the most important things that I look at is our educational system kind of needs some help, but reach out to your teachers, praise your teachers for doing a lot of things that you are not doing.
Yeah.
Especially when COVID hit and you realize how difficult it was to teach your kids some stuff that you didn't even know about.
Yeah, definitely.
Our educators are very important for our future youth, our future society, and so forth. So if you do run into a school teacher or educator, just make sure that you thank them for their service. Just like you do the military, thank these school teachers or these educators for doing what they do, because I'm pretty sure you don't want to do it.
Totally agree.
All right.
Next week, I'm hoping Ron will agree, but after traveling, I want to do travel etiquette.
Travel etiquette. Some of y'all need that.
I'm just saying. People need help when traveling.
All
they
right.
don't understand the etiquette of traveling. So we hope y'all join us every Thursday.
Yes.
And keep an eye out on our website, because the Halloween or fall season is coming.
Okay.
So we have notebooks
Yes.
and t-shirts for the holiday. I'm hoping by this weekend to have some more cool Halloween ones. So
speak on the website. What is it?
It's plannook.angela.com.
And Plannook is
PLANNOOK by Angela.com.
Got it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have
Thank
a good
you.
one.